Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us on this lovely Sunday evening slash night. I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show. Or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you so much for joining us once more on this nice and chilly, cool Las Vegas evening. We're recording a little bit later on in the evening on Sunday because I did go out of town this weekend. I drove down to Southern California. Um, for those of you who don't know, close childhood friend of mine, one of my BFFs from the back in the day, who I am very close with, recently retired from the military after serving 22 years. Holy shit, he's younger than me, y'all. He's 39, so calling it a career, 22 years. Praise to that guy, Luis Gutierrez, his name is. So he had a retirement party in Southern California. He was recently stationed in North Carolina, drove down. He's got family. His older brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you. His older brother in Southern California, Winchester to be exact, around like Hemet, Temecula area. Drove down there for the weekend, and of course he's a fight fan, so we had the fights in the living room watching that shit. But I was there, right? So I woke up this morning and said, I went with my chick, of course. I said, we gotta go because I gotta make it back home to record the fucking show. And she's like, fuck it, let's get out of here. Let's book it. So we book it down here. So here I am. We are, I should say, recording in the later evening hours of Sunday, but we are recording on Sunday regardless because there is plenty of news to talk about. Some stuff, we got to talk about, right? Fight announcements, or it seems maybe conflicting schedules. There were some fights last night, of course. We saw. We're going to be talking about what's next for, of course, Pacheco. The undercard.
All right, we had some technical difficulties pretty early in this show. How's it going, everyone? As I wait for Miguel to unfreeze, that's a awesome. I'm gonna take a photo of Miguel's frozen picture here. Hold on, don't unfreeze. Bam, got him. Want to send that to Miguel. What's up, you guys? Sunday night. Um, what did I do this weekend? Oh, last night watched the fights. Had my daddy daughter dance. Yes, that was interesting. Yeah, Miguel has left. Miguel will return. So yeah, I had my father daughter dance last night with my little girl, and we did good. Danced, ate.
Okay, sir,
All right,
I'm back.
here we
We're
go.
off. We're off to a rocky start. My bad. I don't know what the hell happening. It's not windy over here. I promise it's not. I'm gonna have to call my internet provider and be like, "What the fuck, bro?" Because this shit is happening. So sorry for the interruption. But as I was saying, we should possibly get Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in 2026. Several years after we thought we were going to get it, but as long as nothing fishy happens this weekend, because that is also what we're going to be talking about is fights this weekend. It's officially fight week, of course. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua this Friday specifically. So it's officially fight week. Clock is ticking for Jake Paul to pull out. Whether or not he will or not is another story and remains to be seen. And then some news about one Dana White and Tony Khan visiting the USA Boxing's finale, national tournament finale, this last night, I believe it was. Scoping out some stuff, trying to maybe, I don't know, write a couple of checks. I don't know what the hell, but we're going to be talking about that, of course. So we got plenty to talk about, even though fight wise, there wasn't that much action. There wasn't a lot of fights, but regardless, there's still plenty of news to talk about outside of the ring. And I do have my what is it called? My phone's hotspot on just in case I get disconnected, and I got a backup here. I looked at my modem or my router, and the light blinking. It looks like it's working properly, so I don't know why the hell it cut me off. But regardless, what else can go wrong? Before we get into those details, Andrew, what's going on, dude? How was your Sunday evening slash night going?
What else can go wrong is you dropping the show on me and split second, me not knowing what the hell to say. I don't know why. I'm like a lost child when you get frozen, bro. I was like, what I do last night? Oh yeah, I went to a school daddy daughter dance. Sorry everyone, but yeah, what's up, Miguel? Yeah, that was a rocky start, but oh well, we're here. Closer to Christmas. What are we? 10 days away from Christmas,
Hmm.
and we're getting closer. Ay, ay, ay. Just
We're
got to get
almost there. It's the
almost
fucking finish
there.
line, dude. Yeah.
Yes, no doubt. I don't know if I ever got to the starting line, but let's hope I get to the finishing line, dude.
Yeah. Like I'm not even sure when this thing got started. I just
Yeah.
started. I was moving, and then I see the finish line. I was like, all right, cool. 2026. I see it up ahead. That's totally understandable. So you went to a dance that you said like a dad dance last
Yeah,
night or
it's
what?
the
Yeah.
the daddy daughter dance last night. It was good. I think last year the kids were dancing more.
Mhm.
This year was very chaotic. They had it in a gym, and the kids treated it like a gym. I mean, it was tag, some I don't games that I don't even know what the names are. They were playing those too.
Tag. Oh, your youngest daughter.
Oh yes, yeah,
Oh
my
shit.
young.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
well, my
I
other
thought.
daughter's 21.
Why
There
no? But I
is
mean, they don't have those for
there is no
older.
more
Oh,
daddy daughter dances in at
got it.
least that I know of. She probably hasn't told me if there was, but no, it's for the littler one, and yeah, it was a little chaotic. Little chaotic. Music selection was kind of weird. I guess they allowed the kids to pick a lot of the music, so there was a lot of Taylor Swift going on in there, and
Oh man.
it was very much like a old school elementary school dance where all the boys were lined up on the wall and all
Mhm.
the girls were dancing. Yes, that's how the fathers were. There was not too many dads out there throwing it down to Taylor Swift. So
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I don't like dancing. I do because most people, of course, I am Mexican or of Mexican descent at least, Chicano as they call us. So dancing is kind of part of it. I don't like dancing. I'm not a good dancer, but my chick likes to dance. My sister likes to dance. My mom likes to dance. I was part of my sister's quinceañera, as they call the chambelanes, right? So at least it was a choreographed waltz. So I ain't gotta like make stuff up on the fly. I just had to follow instructions. That was pretty cake. It was pretty simple. And of course, looking back, I'm glad, of course, I did it. But realistically, I don't go to. I mean, I was never the clubbing type. So when dancing becomes a thing, I'm again last night at the party. It's like let me have a couple of drinks before I go up there and start freaking dancing because I'm gonna need a couple of drinks to not give a rat's ass how I look over there. But yeah,
definitely,
that's
yeah.
totally understandable. Are you a dancer, Andrew? Do you like dancing even when like you go out with Christina? Like, that was your thing? Do you guys dance?
Yes, yeah, I do go out there with her, but like you, yeah, I got to put a few down. She knows that. She knows that.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't enter the room and just start throwing it down. No way.
Right.
First, I have
No.
to spend a half an hour observing the room to see who's who's around me. What's going on here? Then after a few drinks, yeah. Then after a few too many drinks, I don't give a shit who's around me. How about that one? Even that gets thrown out the window, I guess. So no, we do good. It's always been fun.
All right. Yeah, that's thankfully
I'm a
most
happy
of it.
drunk.
Oh yes. So
I
am I.
think
So am
I think from maybe my childhood, maybe I wasn't too happy to be around.
I. Mhm.
But then as I got older and got more mature, I was more happy to be around when I drink. Started finding my limit. Got to know your limit,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um,
You got to know
so
your pace too. You got to know how to pace it.
yes, yes, especially if it's an important night. Do not
Right.
go too fast.
Right. Exactly. Last night, I'm telling you. I mean, I had a few, so things were flowing, but there were other people there. They were from out of town as well, and some people had plans to go to Disneyland the following day, and they're like, "Let me not get fucked up tonight, because then I ain't gonna be walking around Disneyland tomorrow with some hungover headache." So people were. Well, I shouldn't say everybody was responsible because there was some people puking. Just saying.
You
It
always
got
got
to that
one.
point. Okay, there's always one, exactly right, and it was not me, thankfully. But totally understandable. Thankfully, most of the women in my life like to s- grind pretty much to whatever it is we're listening to. So I don't have to do much. I can literally just post up. do like my Bone Thug shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, see you at the crossroads and call it a day. But yeah, that's the extent that I dance. But it's good to hear that you had a nice evening slash weekend, I should say, last night, because there was some boxing. As I said, I did go to a party. Thankfully, my buddy is a fight fan, and we were going back and forth. And I know the news that y'all want to hear. John Cena finally retired. He
Stockton,
had the last
California.
match on the TV.
There you go. You are back.
Jeez. But anyway, John Cena retired yesterday, y'all. John Cena, that's right, the professional wrestler. My buddy does, me and my buddy grew up watching wrestling, so we were fans of it before Cena came around, of course. But we're still kind of to some degree watched it, but it was pretty funny because we had we had relatives like, oh, these guys still watch wrestling after so many years. Like we're not really watching it, but it's just this last match is kind of a big deal, so we had it on the big screen. As soon as that ended, we switched it to the Stockton card on DAZN. That's right. Diego Pacheco returned to the ring.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What's going on?
Was it the worst send-off you had ever seen, Miguel? Were you booing at the end of the John Cena match, as so many WWE fans were last night? I mean, that was bad.
It was pretty terrible. Now, knowing the ins and outs to some degree of professional wrestling, we understood he was going to lose. That was a given.
Can you please tell the fans? Can we tell them why John Cena was taking a tap out instead of the traditional slam 1, 2, 3, you're out?
Oh, I don't know why he was taking a tap out. Why was he taking a tap out? Supposedly because Triple H told him
injuries. Isn't it injuries why he's leaving the sport?
Well, he's old. He is old. He's
exactly. There's reels. The guy can't walk straight. Like, people, what the fuck, man? Can we can we let a legend be a legend for one night? Jesus. Can we just say goodbye, tip our hats, and move on with our day? They're like, no, son of a bitch. Why didn't they drop kick him? Throw him off the cage.
Oh, yeah. There were a lot of upset people.
Hey.
It was very anticlimactic. I'm just saying.
You ever seen the Romans when they put their they had their thumbs down, Miguel? They had their thumbs down. Now
we come from a different era. We're expecting, Duran, get knocked the fuck out, Duran. That's your last shit, Like, Joppy, finish this fool. That's how it is.
I think it would have been better. Look, I get it. The tap out symbolizes him leaving on his own. But getting put to sleep is a lot better. Come on, man. Doing the three, you know what I mean? If they would have done the 3 hands and he just says, like, fuck it, I'm out. Just in, that's how they, I was like, John, you maybe should have rethought this. I get it, though. He wanted to show the fans he was leaving. That was his moment, right? I get that part. Man, that was tough for Triple H, though. Vince was laughing somewhere. He was laughing somewhere, bro, because I don't remember a legend getting that booed. I mean, I felt sorry for John. At one time, he's like, hey, you guys, come on. Like, kind of begging them to stop. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that kind of sucked. Triple H, he dropped the ball on that one. But, yeah, it is what it is. I knew why they were doing it. We've all seen the reels. You know what I mean? Let the man be. Some of these guys, they've already given their whole body, and John Cena might have done that. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, I left when Stone Cold got hurt, and we know all of his stunts after the neck injury were very small. You know what I mean? They're little pickups and drops and stuff. They were trying to do very least. The guy had already messed up his neck. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So, yeah, but respect to both stories. We didn't start off slow. Respect to your friend for retiring after 20 years service, and respect to John Cena for 20 years service in the WWE. So, no doubt.
Thank you, sir. That was yeah. I think it was just like the anticlimactic. Like, if you see him, he's just kind of like, no, come on. At least make it dramatic, John. Shit, man. But yeah, that was that was fun up there. People were chanting some shit in the crowd. That was pretty
funny. And even at the post show.
Oh, no shit. I didn't see the post show.
Yeah, they try to do, they do like a post show, like all the major sports, I guess, are doing a post show now. And yeah, Triple H got booed off of there too. He even had to stop what he was saying to kind of acknowledge the boos. Yeah, it was like, hey, you pissed him off tonight.
Oh boy. Yeah. So that there was plenty of pissing off last night watching Pacheco. We were yelling at the TV a few times. We're like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm not sure which one do we talk about. Should we talk about Gabe Flores first, or talk about the main event, Jake Pigeon? I don't.
Look, yeah, yeah, you could talk about. They're both little main events. Yeah, don't know why it was in Stockton.
Well,
I'm still.
that's isn't that where Gabe is
Oh,
from? Is it
it
right?
is, but I didn't think this fight was ever supposed to be Gabe Flores' fight. It was
Mm.
almost like a sacrificial lamb there going up there, and they used his fan base to get somebody. It's a
Mm.
weird. Miguel, it almost started feeling like the who went to Fresno and lost. It was Mikey,
Oh, Mikey Garcia, yeah, in that
right?
fucking like cornfield or what the fuck it was.
It's like, what are we doing here? What are
Yeah.
we doing? It was almost one of those moments last night. But yeah, you could start with the Flores and what's the young man's
Yeah,
name?
Joe Cordina. If you
Ordina.
guys,
There you go.
if that name rings a bell, he was supposed to fight against Shakur Stevenson on the undercard of the first Better Be event Bivol fight, and I believe Shakur had to pull out. He had some hand injury or had to have surgery on one of the ligaments or something along those lines. So basically, they had to he had to pull out, right? So I have it here on my screen because I was like watching bits and pieces, highlights, because again, we're flipping between the John Cena match and some of these the fights that had already started. And by the way, there was also UFC on last night, which was the last show for ESPN under the UFC under the ESPN banner, but that's another story. Nonetheless, we were watching the co-main event, and Cordina won by unanimous decision. Gabe Flores takes another L. Now, I say another L. It's not like they're back to back. He did go like on a bit of a streak here. He was winning, like I think he won 4 or 5 straight, maybe even 6. What's the name? Flores I'm talking about, and then he runs it to Cordina here. Um, Man, some of these fights, like I kind of feel for Flores, because we've seen the prospect that he was at first, and then we thought, okay, he's gonna break through, he's gonna be the next lightweight, he's gonna be the next hot shit, and then he runs into Venalo Lopez, and then Giovanni. I'm trying to think of his last name, but 2 hard losses, right? Like he took a lot of punishment in those fights, and now once more. And now, mind you, this one seemed a little bit more close, right? It wasn't like he got his ass beat the fuck down, but it was still a unanimous decision loss. When we see young fighters reach these kind of crossroad fights, you're like, fuck, man, you don't want to call it that already because of how young he is. But when you see some of the shots that he was taking, and it's like, oh, it kills you inside, right? But he was there. It seemed as though that was the case. It was like, let's go ahead and use Gabe Flores' name to bring some people to this event here. Was your buddy was going to try to go? Did he end up? Was he able to go? Andrew, you were telling me that somebody was
Yes.
the uni was going to try to go. Was he able to go?
Yeah. I had a few family members in the house last night down there. They had a good time. Didn't hear any drama or nothing like that. But as far as with Flores, 25 years of age, boxing can be brutal. The
Mm,
kid came in as a prospect under Top Rank, very young. I think he was under 18, if I'm not mistaken, when he started fighting for Top Rank. And here we are talking about a crossroads match. I mean, it kind of did look like the beginning of the end last night.
mm,
He was in his hometown. He was going up against what they were calling a seasoned champion, right? Champion
mm.
a little bit on the older side. Kind of played it up like maybe this was supposed to be Flores' coming out party, maybe, right? That's what
Yeah.
DAZN was kind of building that up in the beginning, and he did fine. Look, I tell the kids in the gym, not all the time, but whenever I can, because they don't listen all the time, right? They're young
Yeah.
men,
Right.
they're doing their own thing, right? But I always
Mm,
try to tell them when I can, you got to learn how to keep your hands up before you start the other BS, right? You got to learn the fundamentals, defense, you know? Gabe does not have that when plan A goes away.
mm.
He doesn't have a plan B. And you can start walking him down, you can start beating him. I don't want to call him a bully, but that's kind of the mentality I feel like he has. Once you break that spirit in him, he's there for the taking, And
Yeah. Once that aura is like broken, it's like, yeah,
yeah,
he's not there anymore.
yeah. And tomorrow when I go back to the gym, I'm gonna tell him whoever's seen it, You see why keeping your hands up is important, or knowing your defense, having a backup plan if doing the whole shoulder roll and be all fancy dancy tonight doesn't work. He did good, but it's just not. And the win streak, he's 25. He'll get another win streak, but it's the opposition, right? It's when he steps up, it looks like he can't handle that. So at 25 with 3 losses, yes, he'll get another shot. I don't think it'll be as a co-main event, but he can definitely find himself somewhere on the card again, possibly in the top 4 of a pay-per-view card, possibly. The fans, they showed up. It was kind of packed. I like the noise that I was hearing in the stadium. It didn't sound like, there was 5 people there.
Yeah.
Still don't understand why Pacheco's there, but we'll talk about that later. And yeah, overall, it's another C performance for Flores, and his team. I think that's something we talked about. He's one of those fighters that we've talked about probably every time he's had a fight was, what would he have been if he would have left his team and tried to get with a better trainer with his skill set. And now I think it's just too late. Too many punches, too many wars. 25 years old.
Yeah. When they were announcing the scorecards, which I have here, 117, 110, 115, 112, and then 114, 113, all of them going for Cordina. If you look, they have, of course, they side-by-side screen, and Flores is like doing one of these things like, oh, yeah,
it sounds like it.
Yeah. And then, like, of course, for the winner by unanimous decision, Joe Cordina is like, oh, and then he's kind of like disappointed, like, really, you thought it was that close?
And the crowd's booing. I mean, I think they were just being Stockton, right? They were just mad that the Stockton kid had lost. I hope. Like, did you guys watch the last 6 minutes of this thing? The fuck, I'm glad the kid made it through.
Yeah, that was and then it says because I saw bits and pieces of it again. I was flipping back and forth, but looking at it here, I guess there was a point deduction for despite what's the point deduction in the 6th round for a rabbit punch. So I'm assuming from what I'm reading here, the point deduction came from who was the one that was the deduction here? It was at was it Flores? Was Flores the one that doing the rabbit punch? Because I'm trying to calculate the scores, and I'm like, hold on, would it have been 115, 113? I'm trying to calculate what it was because again, I didn't catch the whole thing, but somebody got a point deducted for rabbit punches.
That was in the main event, wasn't it?
No, it was in this one. I pulled up the scorecards, and then it says, let's see, scoring the WBO title fight, and then it gave me the scores for Cordina, despite a point deduction in the 6th round for Rabbit. So maybe it sounds like it was Cordina.
It was Cordina, yeah. It had to be Cordina because it was Flores that was coming in with his hands down and
yeah, that's right.
The guy could not pick up his hand. I was like, oh my god, yeah. It's I don't like that style. Man, you just missed on what I was gonna look up. Darn it.
Oh shit, what's the daisy?
Oh well.
But yeah, it'll come back later, I'm sure. But another loss, unfortunately, for Gabe Flores, and where he goes from here, I don't know. You mentioned possibly if he lands on maybe a pay-per-view card or something, he'll be like the opener or something like that, right? The card opener or something like that. But it did seem like everybody in the crowd was rooting for him, right? Of course, they're going to root for the hometown guy, and it sucks when your hometown dude doesn't. And look, I've gone to UFC fights, right? And there was it was in Los Angeles, and this one dude comes in bumping West Side Connection. It's like, oh fuck yeah, dude, he gets tapped out in the 1st round. It's like it wrenches at your heart, and unfortunately, that's what I was feeling when I was hearing those scorecards for. I caught the last few rounds when I was tuning back and forth, but man, I feel for Flores, but unfortunately, he got himself a loss, and then Cordina, boom, puts himself back on the map and possibly in line for one of the major champs at 135 pounds, because there's plenty, right? We're talking about Schofield, we're talking about Abdullah Mason, Cepeda is still in the picture, of course. This was on a DAZN card, so Cepeda is a DAZN fighter. So it looks like those fights can be made. Hopefully he gets one of those chances, because that chance with Shakur Stevenson slipped through his fingers when Shakur had a pull out of that fight. So congratulations to Joe Cordina for the victory, crossing the pond to make it here and putting on a performance to get a victory over Flores. So good on him. Unanimous decision, I should say.
And I don't know what level of boxing Flores is at this current time in his career, but Cardona did a good job of outboxing him. You really don't see the fighters from over the pond being able to do that here in America. So yeah, that was a good showing by him. Especially he pulled it out in the last 2 rounds, big time.
Yeah, and is that? I mean, not to take any credit away from Cordina, but is it some more him, coming in with that talent, or is it kind of Flores on the way down, sort of thing?
If you would have asked me before the fight, I would have had Cordina as the favorite,
Hmm.
right? So I was kind of surprised when DAZN was trying to pitch it as it was maybe Flores' time to shine. I've never really been that high on Flores, and it showed up again. So yeah, no, I I don't know. I think it's more Flores to answer your question.
Mm,
So, but he got the victory. He'll get another fight. Yada yada yada. But yes, it might have been more Flores than Cordina's skills.
gotcha. And that led to the main event. It just so happens, complete coincidence. I don't think there's any relation there, but the family members that I was with actually have a maiden name of Pacheco in their fucking family. Complete coincidence, mind you. They even have it on their license plate, which is hilarious. But regardless, Diego Pacheco returned to the ring last night in a performance that is starting to I guess garner a lot of criticism. He won. He got himself a unanimous decision victory over Kevin, if I can pronounce his Lele Sadjo, um, and it went the full 12 rounds. Although didn't look his best. Now, I had the fortune of being in attendance in one of Pacheco's most recent fights, which I think I don't remember if there's one between them then and now, but in January he fought here against Steven Nelson, and it was here in Vegas, and I attended. It was a great performance, much better performance, I should say, against another rugged veteran. Sadjo being 35 years old, also undefeated, pretty good knockout record. So it wasn't like it was a terrible opponent, but Pacheco looked kind of average, man, going to the point where he got knocked down. Now, he wasn't actually hurt, obviously, because it wasn't like he ever got his bell rung per se. It was more so of a balanced punch. It looks like they were both throwing the same punch, a punch at the same time, I should say, and that kind of threw Pacheco off balance, and he fell. And that is technically a knockdown because he would not have gone down without that punch. So he ends up going down, and the first, I believe he said it the first time in his career. He said the thing is the first time ever, but there's a couple of surrounding narratives behind his performance here. But before we get into those things, because there are things that happen to be outside of the ring, Andrew, what did you think first and foremost of Diego Pacheco's performance?
There's reasons why these guys are protected, right? They've
Mhm.
been protecting this young man's O for a while, trying to cash him out. They're close to cashing him out here. Sounds like he's close to getting the big fight with either Shiraz or Munguia. If I'm either of those fighters, I'm highly interested in this bout. You have a very green fighter in Pache, and I don't even know if green is the right word for him anymore. What are we looking at as far as a professional 25 pro fights? Can we still say green? Right? He should be coming into his own here pretty soon. And it's not there, man. He's very lazy as far as defense, offense. His offense is good. No, I think his offense has always been good. He relies a lot on his height and his length and his reach. Does not rely on movement a lot, as the zone kept shoving down our throats, about the movement, the laziness in the ring, the straight back, lack of head movement. All of these things, Miguel, would get him slaughtered in the top 10. I mean, come on. The lack of head movement, one of the biggest ones. Um, we've seen it even go with the guys as gifted as Ryan Garcia,
Mhm.
right? Ryan has one of the prettiest left hooks a person could have in the boxing ring yet. Without that head movement, has only had one significant win, right? And So it's Pacheco doesn't have that left hook. I don't see him lasting long as soon as they graduate this young man. That's why if I'm Munguia, I'm probably all over. If and Shiraz, I don't know if it does as much for Shiraz as it does for Munguia because Munguia has the slight hiccup in his career. I know he came back to beat Sasido. Is that his name? Something like that. Cueto.
Suras.
Saras. No, I'm totally off.
Bruno, Bruno.
Sorry, Saras.
Wrong fucking country. No.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Saras. I know he came back to beat him, but then he had the little drug dirty test that got cleared up. But I think it does more for Munguia. Actually, and the fights probably does better in LA, right? In Southern California. Probably does better on ticket sales, does better for both guys' career. Shiraz, I thought was a little bit ahead of Pacheco. Shiraz to me is should be fighting McBilly. Right? That's
Oh,
where
yeah,
the
we'll get to
Berlanga.
that here shortly, which is kind of like conflicting from what I'm reading
So
here.
that
But
is what the WBC. Okay. Oh, my
yeah,
bad.
yeah. No, that's all right. That's part of like the narrative, I guess I want to say.
Okay.
So Pacheco got the win, right? He didn't look as good as he thought, or we expected him to. A couple of things. Number one, he said a close, either someone he considers his grandmother or another grandmother passed away. I believe a few days ago or the night before. So his mind was kind of elsewhere. It seems as though so. That can lend some credibility as to his performance. It could very well have impacted him to some degree because when things are going bad for you outside of the ring, sometimes they do spill into the ring, and it could be that. Now, it wasn't like he looked any different than any of the others fights, right? So we won't go that direction and say, what, maybe his mind was somewhere else because of the recent passing of the close family friend. But or somebody he considers like his grandmother, basically. And we won't say that will be the reason because
Buster
Pacheco didn't look that much differently, huh?
Buster Douglas lost his mother 3 days before facing Mike Tyson. It's one of the greatest reels. I share it every time it comes on my feed. 3 days before.
No, 3 weeks. No, it wasn't 3 weeks.
I thought it was 3 days,
Oh,
bro.
shit, maybe it's 3 days. I don't know. I thought it was more than that.
Story
But
sounds better with 3 days. Don't
yeah,
ruin
don't let the facts get in the way of the no.
it. Don't let the facts get in the way.
Of a good fucking story. But I get your point. It's like it should motivate you. It should motivate you to go in there and like put in a performance for the fucking for the ages. Now, on top of that, new trainer. Now, I won't say new necessarily entirely new per se, but Omar Villanueva, who has been in and around Pacheco for some time, even with Team Benavides. So it wasn't like he's a total stranger by any stretch, but it was his opportunity to kind of like be in not the limelight, but this is his opportunity to shine, to show, oh yeah, I can take this young man to the next level. And didn't look that way, unfortunately. No longer having Jose Benavides Senior in his corner for this fight, at least specifically. Some sort of scheduling issues or location issues, I believe, is what they said. Too far, yada yada, and ultimately it was Omar Villanueva who's coming in to basically be the head trainer and run things, right? Steer the ship here. And oh my, what a bad first outing, right? To show like
Yeah.
that. And look, it happens sometimes. Guys switch trainers for other reasons. Again, this is a different scenario because it's supposedly they're saying it was like a distance issue, location issue, I should say. But man, for you to take over the reins and say like, all right, cool, now this is my opportunity to show how I can propel this young man to the next level, and then put on a performance like this, it's like, oh, that's you only get so many tries, right? Only one try to make a first impression, and it didn't look very good. Afterwards, Eddie Hearn was in the ring and even went as far as to say like, look, he got dropped. Maybe that'll actually help him because now it looks like it'll appear as though he's much more beatable and other top names are now more willing to fight him, pretty much is what he was implying there. But yes, first and foremost, new trainer Omar Villanueva, but he's not I don't want to say new per se because he's not a stranger. He's been around the camp for a hot minute. But Andrew, can that kind of be one of the reasons why we saw Pacheco the way we did, having somebody new in the head trainer coaching your team? Again, not new necessarily as far as being a stranger because they know each other, but him taking the reins like that.
Yeah, that was a great point because they did bring that up a few times in during the telecast. Look, I got to tell you, Jose Benavides Senior is smiling last night. right? Because the young man didn't show anything different.
Mm,
This was a bad showing in far as that situation for Pacheco because whenever you split with the trainer, and come on, let's be real here. This kid's undefeated. He's on the brink of a big fight. They didn't break up just because of travel issues. When you're about to make millions of dollars, no trainer's like, kid, I think I've taken you as far as I can. I know you're about to cash in, but I gotta go. Come on, there was something else there, right? Who knows what it is, but there's definitely some drama there.
mm.
And with the drama being there and him looking the way that he did, um, you would have to think that Jose Benavidez kind of had a smile on his face somewhere. Maybe he didn't. I might totally be wrong, but my money would be on that he did because the movement wasn't there. The head movement wasn't there. The movement around the ring wasn't there. He looked very amateurish. He really did. The step back right in the middle. I mean, someone is going to eat that alive. They really are. I see Pacheco getting stopped within 6 rounds if he fights Munguia or Shiraz. I really do. And that's me not knowing his chin. Now he got dropped last night, so there's knockdown number one has already happened when you're improving in the rankings, right?
Mm.
So it's already happened. Foundation has been broken already. So, but I don't see him that type of level of professionalism does not last when you're in there with the big sharks, man. These guys are sharks to blood. You know what I mean? And this kid's not moving his head. He's walking straight back. Punches are very limited. Power might be limited. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Pacheco stepping in anywhere. I do like the Munguia fight. The Munguia fight's good because I don't know where Munguia's at in his career. Maybe he's on the way down. Who knows? I know he's not at his peak moment. So to me, for Pacheco at this point, hey, kid's been fighting a long time. He's got to get in there at one point, right? I think Munguia is a very good start for him. I don't like the. I think Shiraz is above him, so because of the way he looked against Berlanga. So I would rather Shiraz move on, and Munguia versus Pacheco seems like an excellent fight.
You brought up a good point there about like it seems like there's more to the story of Jose Benavidez leaving the team or no longer being the head trainer. This has happened. I remember specifically, vividly, I should say, in MMA with John Jones. John Jones, former teammate Rashad Evans. Basically, Rashad Evans at the time was already a former champion, and as they were in the same team, and then Greg Jackson, which is the head coach, at some point had to have Rashad leave, and it's like, no. John Jones is the future, yo. This guy's the one's gonna make millions. Bye, buddy. And then there was a bit of a rift between them. So I would not be surprised if maybe Jose Benavidez is like, you know what, me and my son are gonna make a lot more than we're gonna make with you. So bye.
Yeah.
Now again, just speculation because what we're seeing from the outside, they were saying it had to do with location, but it seems like there's much more than that. So you brought up a really good point. It may very well be that like there'll be other reasons why they're about to bounce and not just that. But yes, on to the second part of it, right? Is well, cool. We've talked about even Munguia himself, right? At what point are they going to throw him into the deep end? And ultimately, it did come with Canelo, but we thought they were going to throw him with somebody like Caleb Plant or even Triple G, right, to continue to build the name. So it seems as though we might be getting this here with Pacheco. Pacheco in the ring says, "Hey, I like the Jaime Munguia fight. I'm down. Let's do it. All right, cool. Not a bad idea. I'm down for it, right?" Again, after the fight ended, we basically switched to like the UFC card right in the house, so I didn't get to see the whole post-fight interview inside of the ring until just today. And then while I was on my phone, looking at stuff, I see this thing that says, "All right." Ring Magazine says sources have informed the Ring that Riyadh Season is very interested in staging an explosive super middleweight showdown between undefeated contenders Hamza Shiraz and Diego Pacheco for February 2026 being the target date. Now, you're thinking, hold on. Why am I hearing this? I could have sworn the WBC, after stripping Terrence Crawford of his super middleweight title, has mandated or ordered Hamza Shiraz and Christian Mbili That's what we heard, and this was we heard it recently. We WBC talked about it on their one of the most recent what is it, the conventions that they have, right? And it's like, all right, well, that makes sense. I'm down for that one. But then I'm hearing this, it's like, hold on, are we getting that once more? Riyadh, was it Turkey Al Sheikh versus Marisa Suleiman shit? Suleiman saying WBC, no, 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 we're gonna get Hamza and fucking Mbili, and the ring is like, I should say Riyadh season, and Turkey saying, no, 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 I'm getting Hamza and Pacheco. So now we're getting conflicting stories, right? I don't know who's who at this point because I'm not sure which one is going to be accurate. Who's the one that's going to have the final say in this particular case? Now, I'm down with seeing first Mbili and Shiraz, and then Pacheco and Munguia, and then maybe the winner of that. I'm down with it. Why not? Let's do a little mini super middleweight tournament. But already conflicts here. Andrew, is this kind of like Turkey's way of saying, no, 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 Mauricio, you don't try to pull that shit on us again. We control XYZ, Shiraz, or whomever the fuck. Are we not going to get Shiraz and Billy for the WBC title?
We might look. I don't know. I don't know which one we're gonna get, but I will tell you what's gonna happen. Turkey's gonna overpay for his fight, and it won't make any money. And once again,
won't make any money, said,
it
right?
won't make any money. Mbili versus Shiraz and Riyadh. Who's watching? I'm sorry, who's watching? The Mexicans aren't watching. All the WBC fan base isn't watching, right? Because we know WBC has a little bit of pull in Mexico, right? I'm sure when they show the news, the WBC is probably respected, like whatever ESPN goes off of whatever rankings here for American sports, and we look at those respectfully. So he won't have that. Mbili, I don't know who he is besides someone who hasn't had a shot yet. What's his big fight under his name that's going to make the fans go, oh, I want to watch this one? So all I'm saying is I know what's going to happen. He's going to overpay. He'll probably land the fight. He won't make any money off the fight, and it's another red negative for Riyadh season.
Okay, hang on. So what's his name? Turkey. Well, this was on the Ring Magazine. So Ring Magazine Instagram page. So
Pacheco,
Turkey won.
I'm sorry, Pacheco versus.
Okay, Pacheco. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yes, Pacheco and Shiraz, because Mauricio is who wants Billy and what's his name. So yes. Okay, I get what you mean now.
Maybe Pacheco fans are ready to fly to Riyadh to watch him fight.
Going from South Central LA to fly, yeah, why not, right? I'm sure they can pull that shit off, no problem. February 26th, guys.
Hey, mijo, tell me when tickets are out. I'll be looking them up. How about that?
Yeah, it's like no, Dad. Over there, they wear the sarape on top of their head, not on the fucking shoulders. Like no, no sarape down here, up here, Dad. Okay, gotcha. We'll be there.
They're trying to save money, so they just put slits for the mom.
Yeah,
so up the side. I'm just being a dick.
That's the direction we're gonna go here.
Yeah. We're playing, you guys. But yeah,
you guys don't already know us. Fuck.
Pacheco versus Shiraz does nothing for Riyadh. Excuse me on that. And McBilly versus Shiraz does nothing for them too. But let's call it what it is. It's Pacheco they want out there. So he's gonna overpay. Now what is he gonna overpay Pacheco? What does Pacheco get the jump from? Because he's going to fight for a title. They're going to try to pull him away from his world championship title. What, they can give him $2 million?
Oof.
And this is when Turkey's boss got to start going, what's our business plan here? What are we really doing?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm not even sure. I mean, I don't know who's going to end up winning here, but I have to assume Turkey and his overpaying is going to pay X amount of dollars toward Pacheco and Shiraz. And I mean, Shiraz is kind of his boy, right? I mean, what is Shiraz going to do? Well, yeah, not only am I going to get paid more, but my loyalty goes to Riyadh season. I'm sure that's the direction we're going to end up seeing. So much for Mbili and Shiraz. Huh?
If I am any of the young fighters, I think I'm holding off on just burning the bridges with the sanctioning bodies so soon. You have one fight. Look, Terrence Crawford can burn his bridge. He's almost damn near 40. You know, everyone keeps acting like Terrence Crawford is like the new face of boxing after the Canelo victory. He really isn't. He's 40 years old. He's about to be the old face of boxing here in a year or two, right? He's going to be described as more of a Bernard Hopkins than a Floyd Mayweather, just being real.
Mm.
So he can do that. He can burn his bridge, right? And I love how Terrence just posted not too long ago this week of him with all of his titles. Don't know what that's all about, but they're all shitless. They're pointless, Terrence. Seriously, what do those titles mean to you? Those are not accomplishments. All they've done is rob you. That's all they did. So, if I'm a young fighter, I have to really look at. I have to sit down with Turkey and think, what's the game plan? What's my future look like? Not just 2 fights down the line, right? Because the WBC title can get you title defenses for years. You cash in a lot of checks with that WBC title. Does Turkey have that same game plan, or does he got like 2 fighters right now that he has lined up for you? And then I don't know. I'll just overpay every time. I'm just overpaying. Yeah, right. It's not going to be this way all the time. I'm telling you, you guys.
No, and we've already heard that they seem to be cutting back on their spending. So we're already seeing that they're probably going to start like cutting back on that.
Right. That's absolutely true. I forgot about that one too. So yeah, they've worked themselves in the corner. This is another situation where it's real weird how this business model is turning out to be in Riyadh, where they want to get us for the cheap, but the guys that are already making money, they're going to kind of overpay them, but then everyone else needs to sign up for the cheap.
It's weird. It's a what, bait and switch. It's like yes, go ahead, look at how much money these guys are making because they're with us, sign with us, and it's like, oh yeah, you get $750K for being a champ.
Yeah, but you'll never make that. Like, wait a minute. Yeah, it's fuck. Yeah. We're gonna talk about it. I got.
We'll, a little bit later on. That's one of the topics, of course. So I would be down for either one of them, either Munguia, but I don't see, man. You know what? It's tough. And it sucks because Pacheco is the young cat coming up, but I'm not sure if he wins either one of those. Either Shiraz, Shiraz for sure. I don't think he was, for the punches that he took last night. Shiraz will fucking sleep him, with the power that he's got. What's his name on the other hand?
It's Berlanga all over again, isn't it, Miguel?
Yeah.
No head movement, straight. Basic. The fundamentals not great at all. Berlanga showed the same kind of shit, bro. No defense, head right there for the taking. Yeah, no, it's Berlanga all over again.
Yeah. Now I think he has a better shot at Munguia. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he called him out. But I'm down for that one too. But even then, Munguia fucking swings for the fences. You know what I'm saying? So he might not have the power necessarily at 168, but shit, he swings for the fences every single time. And if he catches, Pacheco with one of those, I'm not entirely sure that he'll be able to that he will let Pacheco off the hook. If he catches him hard like that. So either one of those, man, something has to change. And I don't know. Maybe it's a trainer one more time. I don't know. I certainly hope not. Right? I'm hoping maybe this was just a bit of a little bit of bump in the road. We can strain and iron things out later. But we can attribute it to many other things, factors outside of the ring for Pacheco last night. But it looked bad.
It's crazy too. They didn't have a plan B. Like, look, you seen DAZN hitting them so hard. DAZN, it's DAZN.
No, you got it right. DAZN.
It's DAZN. Right. Yeah. Shit.
You got it
right. You seen them hitting hard on. Can we just get a sidestep? Can he move to the side? Can he create an angle? There's nobody that can text to the fucking trainer, bro. They're asking for a fucking angle. They're asking, you know what I mean? Like, give him a pointer. Give him something that he can take in the ring. I believe this happens in the sport, right? We can't be naive to think that somebody's family member, best friend, you always have that best friend thinks he can tell you anything, right? Hey, bro, we're fucked, bro. Get your shit out of the thing. They're saying this. Larry Merchant and them are saying this. It's just weird. For like 10 rounds, they fucking asked this man to do something else, and he just couldn't do it. Yeah.
Or even Sergio Mora himself, like Sergio Mora. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're at hey, and sometimes doesn't it sound like the commentators, especially HBO, were guilty of it all the time? They'd be giving advice from the sideline. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
just
they would like deliberately speak loudly for that exact reason. It's like, and he would just step to the fucking side and throw a quick left. I was expecting at least, Sergio Mora to like hold up a sign like the corner, like, tell your buddy to do this, tell your fighter to do this. But it just, man, and I don't remember right offhand if Pacheco has been cut before. I know he's been hit, and I can see, like, I remember specifically was fight with Steven Nelson where his eyes were kind of swollen, but I don't remember if he was cut before, because he was cut here. Um, from a headbutt, it wasn't like the blood was a factor or anything like that. But now I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, fuck, it's the first time he was cut, even though it was a headbutt. It's the first time he got dropped, which, even though it came in the eighth round. It's like, I'm trying to, put the pieces of the puzzle together and try to see if there's anything else that could be, excuse me, the logical explanation behind his performance. But I don't know. It could be any number of factors. Um, it doesn't look like it's there, basically,
yeah.
and I was talking to my pops about it too. Again, I was out of town, right? So I got back home earlier today, and my dad was still in the garage, and I was like, you watch it? I'm like, yeah, of course I watched it, Dad. And he's like, he doesn't convince me. It just doesn't convince me. So something's missing. It's not there. It's not it. It's not it. And it sucks because, again, we just saw, Gabe Flores on the undercard. It's like already talking about crossroads fights. Seems like at some point they're going to be throwing Pacheco here to the deep end, and it looks like it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
Well, they protected him.
Mm.
They've got him to the position where he's going to make a decent check, and that's just what they got to go with. I think Eddie Hearn has probably been allowing his team to protect him, and Eddie hasn't cared because he had a big DAZN contract that he had to fulfill with fighters, and
Mm.
so whatever matchup they were agreeing to, he kind of threw his hands up in the air and went with it. Well, now he's 25-0 and ready to get in with the big dogs, and he does not look ready at all. When they're talking simple things as head movement and creating an angle, what the fuck, dude? We're talking about elite level here. That's almost like a wide receiver, and they're like, "Oh yeah, if he would just catch the ball this way." Like, wait a minute, we're in the NFL, bro. Are we literally talking about catching the ball? How he's catching the ball? Like, that shit's not. You don't hear these kind of things, right? So he's way in over his head. He's definitely been a product of being protected. Yeah, and hey, you changed trainers, so you have no excuse. And like I said, it's a real hard rude awakening for Pacheco because he did a lot of shit talking. It was a lot of, I'm going to be different this time. Oh, you should see me. Oh, you should see what I'm doing. And then they come out with a performance like this where it was kind of, in the end there, they were almost, he does pull it back, but they were going for McBilly in the middle rounds. They were making it seem after that 8th round knockdown, really, they're making it seem like the tides were turning on the fight. So yeah, just not a big fan of Pacheco, and we'll see what happens. The Munguia fight's very interesting. Shiraz isn't. Shiraz is he's sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, and when I was watching the fight, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what other reason it could be? You really like hit it on the nail. Hit the nail on the head. He didn't have a plan B. He got cut, and then it was a lot of holding. It seemed like he got tired, or he just ran out of gas or something, and there was a lot of holding, and it was almost like he didn't know what else to do. It's like, shit, I don't have a plan B. Let me just fucking clinch here and nullify him by holding on to him. There wasn't any sort of point deduction for that or anything like that. It wasn't like too egregious, but he would do it regularly, and I look at his face and I'm like, man, this fucker's sucking wind. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Any number of things, but just no. Huh?
Both fighters for Eddie Hearn pulled it off in the last 2 rounds. It was like Eddie was like, "Oh, thank you," because I think it's the 11th round where Pacheco. I don't know if he hurt him or if he just lands like two.
Yeah, I don't think he really does hurt. He just lands.
Exactly. The zone was, yeah, that's what I thought too. But anyways, he does land some good punches where at least Eddie was like, yeah, see, please give me those rounds. Yeah, he pulled it out at the end there. He got him at the end.
Yeah, and then and even Eddie Hearn, like, and he he did his best to spin it, right? He was to spin it in a positive way, saying like, "Well, he got dropped. Maybe that'll lure some fighters to want to fight him now." But I'm not sure if that's exactly the way the right way to do it. But ultimately, it happened, right? And I kind of got the impression that Eddie Hearn was kind of having a bit of a hard time with it, like, yeah, he got dropped, and he was kind of doing one of those things. But ultimately, Pacheco got himself a victory, kept his undefeated record intact, and possibly signed himself a check for a future cash out against either Munguia or Shiraz. We'll see which one actually happens. All right, so because I know you want to talk about it, Andrew, you're already like itching to talk about it. Dana White and Tony Khan were at the USA Boxing's national tournament championships. I think it was the finale, I believe it was last night that they were there. I'm seeing, of course, there's no middle ground. I'm seeing comments saying this is great. They're going to be doing big things. They're scouting. And then I'm seeing the complete opposite. It's like, no, 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 yeah, don't let these motherfuckers fool you. Um, I've read a whole bunch of tweets, specifically from the one that I saw here in particular. I'm going to read it out here. Of course, Sean Zattel, great guy. I've met him myself many, many times. Right, even when my first few times attending fights as media, he was always very friendly. I ask him questions. I pick his brain sometimes. Whenever I see him in person, and he's always down to help. So I follow him on other social media platforms, and on Twitter, I believe a day ago or the day before, the 12th in particular, I guess. So he says, I'm hearing that Dana White, Nick Khan, and Terrence Crawford are headed to Texas for the USA Nationals to try to purchase the rights to USA Boxing's national tournaments. And then he says, emergency live. And then he basically tagged all the other promoters like, hey, yo, this is happening. Now, he kind of got dragged through the coals here because somebody was calling him out, a PR person from Terrence Crawford saying, no, yo, Terrence isn't fucking there. And even though Sean kind of came out and apologized, like, all right, fine, he wasn't there, fuck, my bad. But he was still right about everything else. He essentially had to call, or not say call, but try to get all the other promoters to kind of like pay attention to what's going on here, because even though this tweet says that Dana and Nick Khan are there, of course, on behalf of TKO and Zupa Boxing, whatever, are there to purchase the rights to USA Nationals, or USA Boxing, I should say. I believe he later on posted a video saying specifically it was television rights or some sort of distribution rights, et cetera, et cetera. But regardless, they were there. That's bad enough, frankly. That's bad enough. Knowing what they want to do to what we already know in regards to the amendment to the Ali Act, and you can't help but speculate they're not there for good intentions, or at least for the current state of boxing, I should say. Obviously, good intentions for them, right? They want to control things the way they want to, the way they have done for professional wrestling, WWE, and the UFC, of course. So it seems as though that's the direction they're going to go with try this year. But yeah, they were there. You see it all over social media, them posting Nick Khan and Dana White there. Andrew, please, by all means, sound off. What are your thoughts about this? Did these guys have good intentions showing up there in Texas?
Yes, they got good intentions for their own league, right? I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
they have good intentions for the state of boxing. And I'm starting to question if the TKO league is even going to be boxing. There was a video that came out this week. I believe I sent it to you. I don't know if you caught it. Maybe I didn't send it. Sorry if I didn't. Where Dana White talks about the January. They're coming out in January, right?
Yeah,
Their
January
first
26th, I
show.
believe it said. Yes.
New ring, new rankings, possibly new rules. And that's where I just went, what? New rules? Miguel, when I've been watching the UFC for a while, since this whole TKO thing has come together, I've been paying a lot more attention to the UFC because I thought it was a red flag that Dana White started doing other things. And if I'm the UFC, I would be sending some spies in, trying to get the guys that I think are still with my corporation that work for them to start giving me information about what Dana White is actually creating with Turkey. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. As I've been watching this UFC thing, I've seen that the state of the UFC is not in a good place right now. Oh, it might be with all the headlines of the $7 billion. Oh, we just signed $7 billion. Everyone runs around like that. Trust me, none of the fighters are going to see that money. That all stays with the big guys.
No, yeah, it's definitely not going to fighters.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't go to the fighters. So we can stop with like, oh, it's a great day for all the MMA world. It's not. It's a great day for the UFC bosses. But I've been seeing that the fans really haven't been happy for a while. And I brought this up on the show before about the numbers are down. You don't see them brag about their pay-per-view numbers at all for at least for a few years. I have not seen Dana White say shit about his consistent pay-per-view numbers. You see the fans complaining about the ground. All this wrestling. Look, to all my wrestling people, my ground people, love you guys to death, but I'm stating facts here. Like after every wrestling match that these guys win, you see a lot of fans that are ticked off. What if Dana was trying to create a new league where maybe there's takedowns, but we don't stay down? I've always told you, Miguel, that I've seen it in the UFC, man, where that referee says, break. And that's when the crowd goes, yeah, because he stands them up. Now they're going to throw down. I want to know what his new rules are. What could you bring to boxing? Not a damn thing. We only have 2 fucking fists, bro.
Could there be some sort of like, and this is just me spitballing, because it happened recently with boxing. I mean, boxing. I'm sorry,
it's
with baseball. With baseball, the I don't know, shot clock type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like anything to do with that, because in baseball too, right? They have it where like the pitcher has to get the pitch out before a certain time. Now they have it. Same thing with the NBA. They have to cross the half point, the half court. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but it's like, hey, y'all, we can't go more than 10 seconds without punches or some stupid shit like that. Because when I see the, slap box type of stuff or a slap fight, whatever, power slap, it's like, God, they're trying to do the most exciting thing possible, like to not have there isn't any lulls in the action. So it's constantly going. I wonder if that's anything. And again, I'm throwing out there, I'm not going to hear some sort of fucking rant, but something along the lines of where they can't go too long without throwing a punch.
It would be that would be one of the craziest changes you would ever see. I don't think there would anyone be like, oh my God, I can't wait. Punches within 10 seconds. Come on. Like, I don't know, Miguel, I'm telling you, if I'm the UFC, I'm calling Dana personally, like, what the fuck your rule changes, dude? Because I'm telling you, if he makes it a striking / MMA league.
No, I don't think we'll do Miguel, that. I'm almost certain it's going to keep it on the feet.
Miguel, who is primed for their bullshit pay scales? Who's primed for that type of league? UFC fighters. UFC fighters would come in the dozens. If he said, hey, we allow a little bit of elbowing, we allow you to take, if you take a guy down, you get a point, but no one stays down. 10 seconds, you're back on your feet. If you're not advancing, if we don't see something advance, we're getting you guys back up. He even talked about gloves being different. He even talked about changing the boxing glove. Look all this up. All this stuff is starting to lean more towards a whole new sport. You're not boxing. You're saying you don't even have a ring. Think about it, you guys. Who's primed for this? He'll take the UFC's fucking stable overnight. If I'm not mistaken, Ronda Rousey already said she's interested in fighting Katie Taylor. If Dana White puts on a MMA stand-up type combat sport, Ronda Rousey can do a flip. She could throw a combo and then throw one of her hip throws. She might be all in. I'll give it a shot. What does she do? Judo? Is that what she does?
Yeah, she was a judo Olympian. Yeah, silver medalist, bronze medalist, one of those. I forgot which one it was, but yeah.
New rules. What's the new rule? Oh man, I'm telling you guys, if I'm the UFC, because dude, the UFC, everybody's been saying the UFC wrestled themselves out of a sport.
They've made rules where wrestling dominates. Their numbers are dropping. You know another thing I seen, and
Mm,
I'll get off of it after. Nah, I won't even bring it up right now. I'll send it to you later and bring it up. We'll bring it up again. Remember, hey, mark it though. I want to talk to you about it off the air.
for sure.
Um, but that's my thing this week, Miguel. Is I think the UFC needs to pay attention to Dana. I really do. Remember, Dana don't even have friends in that front office anymore. His two childhood buddies have been gone. I've seen a company change. Things get real weird when all the
Mm.
bosses are new. The guys from the old company, they're usually on thin ice. They're usually on thin ice, bro. And Dana White's numbers have been dropping, and his stories haven't been that great out there, right? His face hasn't really been the best for the UFC as of late. So he might be thinking of possible future that he needs to create for himself. And what better way than to create a league that would take literally a fucking stable, a whole fight stable away from there would be so many people interested in making $700,000. Nate Diaz would probably be interested in that. I'm talking everybody. I'm talking about the guys that are retired that might even come back overnight. Just watch yourself. You're playing with the devil there.
So what you're saying is Dana White's attempt at a new sport isn't going to be power slap. That's not going to be the one that's going to be
Yeah, it's not
taking
going to be.
over. No, all right, because that sure is nothing but fucking concussions, pretty much. Uh,
There is an avenue to make a lot of money in a kickboxing, Muay Thai boxing type
See, I
situation.
don't, I don't know, because I mean, maybe because here's the thing. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't popular at some point, right? In the '80s, there was a kickboxing craze for a little bit, and it kind of sort of happened in the '90s as well with K1, and they had events here at the Bellagio. So it's not like they haven't tried before. It just doesn't seem to catch on. Are they going to make another attempt at it? Because it seems like the previous examples just never surpassed, beyond what boxing was at that time. And maybe now at a time where boxing is maybe hindered a little bit because of the promotions and the promoters and everything in a situation where they are as far as like their streaming services and the networks that they're not on. Maybe to some degree, if boxing right now is hurting, this new sport can take over because it's not boxing isn't as strong as it was back the last time they tried kickboxing or anything of that nature. That makes sense, right? That's a possibility.
It's possible. I don't know if the elites of boxing think that boxing is hurting. They're still watching guys make millions of dollars off of these belts. They just watched Terrence make 50 million. I mean, you guys, seriously, let's be honest. Google just released the top athletes Google this year. Why isn't one of Dana White's fighters on the top? I
Well,
only
because I
hey,
think I think we're talking about
I only talk facts.
and do it in an entertaining way.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, we only talk facts here though,
All right,
bro.
but I think we're talking about two different things. Number one, the fighters themselves. Number two, the sport as a whole, and like the health of the sport as a whole. Yeah,
Well,
we
no,
got
no.
Turkey
Well,
coming in to pay.
you're telling me boxing's hurting. I'm telling you, boxing holds the number one searched athlete in the world.
Right,
Can't be
but I
hurting
mean, but
that much.
the athlete himself. That's what I'm saying. If we're at a point where our savior is Jake Paul, you can't tell
Well,
me that that's
but
you know.
I think everyone that gets into the sport who's a Olympian, a potential Olympian, a potential prospect, have the idea that they are the next Floyd. You hear Telefimo say it all the time. In this sport, you have to consider yourself the greatest of all time. You will not make it. Nobody's going to be taking the lesser payday when they think they're Floyd Mayweather and they just watched Terrence Crawford make $50 million in one night. It's not he's not coming for those guys. I'm dead serious on this. There's something else happening here with TKO. It's the Kazakhstan fighters
Mm.
have been very hard to control. These guys talk off the fucking hinges all the time. Their jokes are racist. They don't care about money, so they can't be bought out. Sorry, but that's what that means when Dana tells you these guys don't care about fucking money. Think about it.
Mm.
And they're dominating the sport. We will see.
Yeah,
We
and
will
we got
see.
a month and a half to go because the 26th is right around the corner.
What's for what? On what?
For the first boxing TKO show,
TKO,
which
yeah.
I think they said the 26th of January. As far as I know, I'm not sure how far they've advanced to amend the Ali Act or whatever it is they plan to do, because we're a month and a half away roughly. By now, wouldn't we kind of already know what the rules are, what the ring is going to look like, what the boxing gloves are going to look like, or whatever? Like, you kind of should know that by now.
Miguel, shouldn't we have a fight card?
Yeah, a main event.
We're
something.
talking about a few weeks from now, bro.
Mm. Do you think they're gonna push it? They're gonna push the date back, like they didn't get what they needed in time, and they're gonna maybe push it back to, I don't know, February. I mean, well, maybe not February. Maybe, I mean, that is late January, because we're supposed to have like one card a fucking a month or something like that, right? According to them. Yeah. Damn, this is interesting times.
Yeah, if he lines it up to where he's going to take a few MMA guys into this right away, he doesn't need that much training or time. These guys seem to be ready to fight all the time. It's like this exhibition bullshit that they keep pulling off, right? They seems like they're ready on a drop of a dime. Doesn't mean they're going to be in great shape. I don't think they have to be in great shape. They get paid either way. So it could be contracts. It could be something where Dana White don't want to burn his bridge yet. He's waiting till all the ducks are in line, and then he's going to say, all right, our phones are open, and you watch how many people from the other side are going to start calling. Hello, Ronda Rousey didn't fucking come out and say she's interested in a boxing match for no fucking reason.
Yeah, at the perfect time and the most coincidental time.
Yes. So, and then all these other guys that have been trying to bait Jake Paul into a fight. All these other guys have been trying to bait Terrence Crawford into a fight, Ryan Garcia into a fight. Come on now. These guys all seem like they're going to be calling Dana going, hey, is that money real? Are you really saying I can make, what was the first level? Wasn't it like 75,000 or something like that?
Let me see. I can find it. I forgot the specific number, but let me see if I can pull this up real quick.
Pull it up real fast. I believe it was around there, and that is a significant increase in most MMA guys' purses at that moment right there.
Okay, no. The second, hold on, because the first, it says if you're if 10 round, check this out, 10 round bout, unranked fighter, 20K. When you're ranked by the company, it's 50K, which even that in and of itself is a fucking jump, because not a lot of people getting 50K in the UFC in general. When you're ranked by the company and you're at number 3 to 4, 125K, which again is already a major jump. 375 when challenging for a championship, and 750. So the base is 20 fucking K. Okay.
Yeah,
and
the base sucks.
Yeah, base sucks. But the next one over 50K, more than double that. I mean, 50K is the bonus, whenever you get a performance of the night or fight of the night or whatever the hell the term that they use, whenever there's like a fight of the night kind of thing. That's like, sometimes it's like 50K, like that in and of itself, it's like, holy shit, if a guy who's just coming in is making 20K and he still gets that additional bonus because he put on a hell of a fucking fight, that's a lot of good money for some of these guys. So maybe the 20K not so much, but that second one, yeah, that one's pretty. But it says if you're when you're ranked by the company, beat me in TKO, between 5 and 10. So I guess you have to be, I guess maybe it's not just your second fight, but rather you have to be ranked between number 5 and number 10, which I don't know how many fighters are going to beat in general, but at the very beginning, there's going to be, a lot of open slots. I mean,
yeah, and that's why they were at the Nationals. Look, them being at the Nationals, there's no issue with that. Do you know how many promoters are at these things trying to scoop up the kids that don't get signed by the 4 big companies, right? There's a lot of other smaller promotional companies out there trying to make these fighters get under their banner too. They probably all got a little bit nervous, right? Those are the guys that got nervous. They were the ones selling these guys for pennies to the dollar, most likely. And now Dana White's out there just gobbling all of that up. If you remember, I told you That the $20,000 one is probably a significant jump for most guys starting off with no promotional company. Even they're making good money. But that $50,000 one, that's the game changer. That's the one where all of even your four big promotional companies that run boxing right now, we currently do not pay our seasoned veteran fighters that type of wage. The guys starting off with no backing, that type of wage. Remember when I said all of them are getting a raise? That's the raise I'm talking about, that's where the fucking promoters are going to get. They're going to walk into a few issues because your fight now has to make a certain amount to pay everybody. And if we were already limited on how much we could do that, where the state of boxing was, can you imagine if we have to give everyone a raise to $50,000?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like that's what I mean when I say boxing is kind of hurting. It's like that they're not going to do that. They're not going to match that.
They're not.
If this would be the time that I mean, that's one of the reasons why probably Dana's getting into it, is because like, oh shit, it looks like boxing, at least on that level, is hindered, is hurt. It's like, all right, we can come in and take over at this point. Maybe we want to take over at the top league, but I know the top names, but everything below that, possibly.
Let's just hope we lose this battle but win the war. And what I mean by that is we will get hit when they first start this thing off. It might get shaky, but I still think that they're not going to be able to sustain a market like this with the payouts that boxers see. I also do not think that caliber of fighter is gonna make their TKO a household name, just like USA Fights never did, the Tough Man contest never did, all of your other smaller promotions that try to get all these B-level fighters. You've never seen one of these promoters come out with the next Manny Pacquiao. You've never seen him come out with the next Mike Tyson. So if he doesn't find a gem in the rough fast, this thing loses money. It gets drained of its money because no one's showing up to watch B-level fighters. B-level fighters.
Not elite fighters.
Let's be nice.
You'd be like, he's fucking loose.
You paid that fucking 50 grand.
I'll jump in there and I'm half fucking drunk. No. But yes, interesting times. We're going to be finding out here very soon. January 26th is right around the corner, 6 weeks away roughly, and we'll see what exactly goes down there. All right. Well, on the topic of big fights, it seems as though we might finally get Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, or at least that's what it looks like. Now, last time this happened, unfortunately, the fights didn't happen because I think it was Joshua that lost. But regardless, according to the Ring magazine, back to Turkey, Mike Coppinger reports sources have advised the Ring that a highly anticipated showdown between former heavyweight champions Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua will headline a Riyadh season mega event in 2026. Before that collision happens, the Ring has also learned that Fury and Joshua are slated to see action in separate fights as part of next year's Riyadh season. So, according to what this is saying here, it looks like at some point, maybe Q2, quarter two of 2026, maybe even Q3, we're going to see Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, as long as they both win their fights. According to this, we're going to see both of them in action in another event leading up to it. Seems like they're already setting up for failure because, that the saying of when you make plans, God laughs. So we've seen this happen before, right? I think what was it supposed to have been? AJ and Wilder, I think it was, right?
Yes.
So
he gets knocked out by the cat from China. What's his name?
John.
Yes.
Yes.
The 360. That's when he does the 360.
Yes. Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Precisely.
Yes.
So we've seen it happen before. We've seen the plans fall through because one doesn't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe look, we're gonna get Caleb Plant and what the other Charlo, regardless, even though Plant lost this fucking fight, right? Because that's what was supposed to happen. So maybe we might get the same thing. So even if they both lose, it just says we're gonna see action. We're gonna see them in action prior to their fight. So whether that means they actually have to win or not is, I'm sure, might have to read between the lines there. Go ahead.
Trust me, AJ must win out for him to make the money that he's going to be asking for Tyson. These two aren't coming cheap, right? So the market, yeah, the market's going to have to be there for this fight, and I'm a little bit nervous about AJ having to win too. Obviously, next Friday, yeah, we're hoping that's a fucking Ngannou type situation. But man, the kid didn't get past Dubois. The fuck?
I got to be honest. Like I've always called Daniel Dubois basically another AJ. It's like he throws down, he fucking, and then he gets hit, and then it's like all over. It's gone, right? It's gone. The kind of guys that can throw a punch but not take it. Maybe Klitschko, we can call him. But when I was watching that fight with Dubois and AJ, I was like, why is AJ's hand so fucking low? What the fuck, dude? So maybe he learned from the mistake he shouldn't be making to begin with at that level, but. Yes, it probably messed him up because he got tagged, he got dropped, and he got hurt. He got his belt rung. That's another concussion added to the many more. So I'm hoping, right? There's no funny business with him and fucking Jake Paul, and then we get whatever fight. Because here's the thing, real quick. This according to this is saying they're both gonna see action before. Is the action they're referring to for AJ Jake Paul, or is he gonna have yet another fucking fight and then Fury?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. If it's Jake Paul, I'm all in because now we're flying high going into the Tyson Fury fight. Right. But he's lost to Dubois and he's lost to Andy Ruiz, two guys that weren't highly ranked at the time that he fought them. Where do they go to get his showcase fight? They're going to get another Charles Martin somewhere? That's you better go down to the neighborhood.
They're gonna go get Vern Stavern or something back.
Yes, bro. Seriously, hey, if I'm his team, that's where I'm leaning towards. They're like, look, we have nothing to prove right now. We need Anthony to get to Tyson Fury. That's all we need him to do. So yeah, I'm going out and I'm looking for a Rocky fucking Balboa somewhere. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, most definitely. I'm a little bit. I want to know. That's a great question. Is Anthony Joshua the action that they're talking about? I mean, Paul.
Jake Paul. No, I got you, man. Yeah. That one, because I mean, even for Fury, like who they gonna grab? They're gonna grab Chisora or fucking Dillian White for the gazillion fucking time at this point. Like who are they gonna toss in there? Because it sure as hell isn't gonna be no top ranked fighter by any stretch. I would assume it's gonna be maybe not an entirely a gimme fight, but it's going to be one of those softballs that should be enough to get them to hype up the fight. See them go in there and maybe knock the fucking clock out of some dude, and then get the hype back up into their potential fight. Because now it's just starting to look like because what I'm reading from this post here, the way it's making it seem, it doesn't seem like they're talking about Jake Paul as part of that action that Anthony Joshua is supposed to have. So I'm not sure. I'm kind of getting the impression that Joshua has to go 3 or 2 fights and then to get this money fight with Tyson, while simultaneously Fury's only going to have 1, so I don't know how that looks, but it looks like as long as the stars align or the planets align or whatever, we might finally get this fight here with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Now, it does say headline a Riyadh season mega event. Now, I hope that doesn't mean in Saudi Arabia, because we know these guys can make fucking bank in the UK, right? They can have a killer ass card over there. I hope they don't go the direction that we think they might and go to Saudi Arabia for this one. Maybe they will. I don't know. Again, this is Riyadh season, so who the fuck knows? But
they're big enough. Those 2 names, Miguel, are big enough for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, because
wouldn't it still be more in the UK regardless?
Definitely for your casuals, but casuals pay just a certain amount, right? Where I think in Riyadh, these 2 would attract a lot more of the celebrities, the athletes, soccer players, rugby guys, things like that bring some significant money to the table. Anthony and Tyson are headliners. Those are 2 headliners.
All right, all right. So as long as the stars align and we do get this fight at some point in 2026, is it safe to say that Joshua's just not gonna come out with the victory? Like he can go in there, but sometimes it's just his mental capacity. Sometimes he just kind of wilts, right? Knowing how much trash Fury talks. I think he's going to get in his head right off the bat in the fucking press conference, and right from that point, it's going to be a Fury fight, a Fury victory, I should say. Who do you think? I mean, if we can just again, the fight's not happening yet, but looking ahead, who do you think takes it?
Man, Miguel, this fight 5 years ago, I had Fury every day.
Mhm.
Right now, it's 50-50 because of Fury's chin and his age. Reflexes are the first to go. Fury's always had a hands down type approach. Joshua lands a very big right hand. That man's going to sleep. We've seen everyone put Fury down. I've got to think Joshua has the power to put him down. So I'm very interested in this fight, what the odds will be. But yeah, it's a pick'em fight. It's a pick'em fight. Yes, Fury, 5 years ago, he dances circles around him. But we haven't seen Fury do that in a minute either, right? He's been kind of a rope-a-dope fighter here as of lately, and it's costed him because he hasn't been winning as of lately. So maybe, just maybe, that big right hand that took down Klitschko takes down Tyson Fury right before he leaves the sport.
Do you think AJ hits harder than Wilder? Because Wilder cracked him and couldn't keep him down. Again, we are talking about a Fury of then, right?
That's
Several
true.
years back then.
Yes, yes.
But even now, like, do you think he's got enough in that right hand to not just knock Fury down, because we've seen him fall, but stay down?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna say yes. Anthony Joshua is a powerful puncher. Fury's been down numerous times, and he's only getting older. So yeah, and like you just said, that was 7 years ago. Now this is a whole different fight right here, and Fury's looked vulnerable. He really has. I mean, seriously, Fury was knocked out by Usyk, at least in the first fight. That ref stopped that fucking knockout, man. Like, he should never have gotten in between that punch.
I know. Can you imagine just the visuals of that? It's like, oh fuck, he lands that last left, and boom, he goes down.
It's
very, very Ali and Foreman like flop along all over the fucking place, and then he drops. Damn, that would have been some shit. Yeah, I think that is a pick and fight, because I probably still will lean towards Fury, but man, I don't know, especially, and then the time off, that's got to be a factor as well. Well, let's hope it actually happens, right? I mean, these guys have to get through some fights before then, which is my segue to this Friday, guys. It's finally here. It is finally fucking here. The World Cup. No, I'm just kidding. I just thought I was in there. But anyway, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, Miami, Florida. Well, I forget what arena it is. Friday, the 19th. I guess now I have to give Jake Paul the credit. He didn't pull out of the fight. He's going through with it. I won't go that far to be like 100%, because I don't know the ins and outs, and maybe they have some conversations that I'm not aware of. But regardless, if this is going to go down as legitimate as they're at least, what's the word? As it's perceived by us, at least, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it Friday on Netflix. It is officially fight week for Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. I pulled up the odds. I pulled up the fight card. We're gonna be talking about it right nizzle dizzle, because there's some pretty decent fights on the card. Not half bad. Let me pull up the fight card here, if I may. Let's see here. No, I don't want the USA Today app. God damn it. All right, here we go. So this is what it's looking like, guys. Besides the main event, because we already know, right? There's going to be a couple of female fights or women fights here. Those going to be opening up the card. The ones that we want to look at here are the co-main event and the main event. Tyron Woodley versus Anderson Silva in a boxing fight. Yes, two former UFC champions, past their prime at this point. Anderson Silva way more than Tyron Woodley. We're going to get also Alicia Baumgardner against Layla Bodine, if I'm pronouncing that right. It is for the Unified Super Featherweight Championship because Alicia Baumgardner is the champ there. And then one of these other names I know I'm familiar with, Yocosta Valley, if I can pronounce that properly, against Yadira Bustillos. Again, got to give credit where credit is due. Jake Paul is definitely putting on a platform for a lot of women fighters, and there's going to be a few of them on this card as it is. So definitely interested in seeing how that card goes down. It is going to be on Netflix, guys. So, it's going to be free if you already happen to have the app. But decent card, right? It's gonna be pretty good. When I saw this here, Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley, I'm like, oh gosh, really? I knew they were gonna get down, but I didn't realize it was gonna be on this card until I literally just pulled it up, and I'm like, man, fuck. I mean, and they're fighting like at cruiserweight, which is like heavier than they've ever fought before. This is obviously a forced fight, right? But so just reading off of these names here, Andrew. Decent fight card, right? Not bad enough. I mean, not bad, I should say. Like, it's not like holy fuck, I'm definitely gonna watch this, but if it's a Friday night and I got nothing else to do and I happen to have Netflix, I'm watching this card. Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Yep, it's free, and the main event is worth it. So
yeah. So check this out. This is what I was able to find right on the odds, and again, I'm a little confused, but you know what? Fuck it. It looks like Anthony Joshua is the favorite, right? Which makes sense. Between minus 900 and 1300. Now, when I first read this, I just saw the minus 900 part, and I was like, what the fuck? All right. And depending on where you look, what betting app or what casino, etc., what sports book, it's anywhere between minus 900 and minus 1300, which is a heavy favorite. However, why isn't it like minus 2,000, Andrew? 2,500 for fuck's sake. Why isn't he that much of a fucking favorite? How is this close? Now, taking a look at Jake Paul real quick. Again, his varies anywhere between plus 600 to plus 700. Why isn't it plus 1,500? Andrew, what am I missing something? Why is it? And again, these are very far, like I guess spread odds here. But why is it even this close?
yeah, no, I'm trying to think of an answer as you're giving me time here, and I really didn't come up with anything. At first, I was like, maybe no one's betting, but then they would have Jake Paul significant higher if no one was betting. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be so low. Right now, the betting is kind of angled in a way where the casinos are a little unsure of who's going to win. AI doesn't know who's going to win this one, right? They have him as a significant favorite, but not Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, right?
Right,
At
which
all.
is exactly my point. Why isn't it like that? That's
They seen him get face planted. AI's like, did you guys watch his last fight? It was one punch and he was asleep. He didn't get up. Could it be that when it put it both in the AI prediction that his percentage does come up with a little bit over half, that maybe that right hand lands, and it was like, no, we can't go. We all know that it's computers now. They don't casinos really ain't going off of humans anymore. Could it be that computer is saying that there might be a possible way Jake Paul puts Anthony Joshua to sleep? It's not going to be decision, you guys. It's going to be Andy Ruiz like in the middle of a mix of them two throwing. Wasn't it a left hook that landed on Joshua that first got him ranked?
Yes, yeah, kind of like in the forehead, temple area that started like yes.
And they're just chunking, right? Fucking, they're just throwing down, and bam, he gets the lucky shots.
No, it's not a lucky shot. There's no such thing as lucky shots. When punches are throwing, there's no such thing as luck. I'm just saying.
I don't know, man. You look like a fat guy wailing arms, bro.
The funny thing is that he himself got dropped by a left hook, and then he ends up returning it.
Exactly. And he got up swinging for the fucking fences, dude. Good. Jake swing for the fences, and they think that right hand possibly is the one that puts Joshua on his butt and gets Joshua's mind. Because look, if Joshua gets hurt, we've seen him fold, right? We've seen him not act like the same fighter after being rocked. Maybe Paul can get some respect out of him early and turn this fight around.
Yeah,
I don't
and
see it.
no, no. I remember if you guys remember watching the Dubois fight, he gets rocked right with Dubois, and then AJ lands on Dubois, and that's what causes him to come in a little reckless and then get caught, and then for the final KO. So. Are we looking at something like that? Like, he gets a little stung and he's like, oh, what, fool? Really? You're going to try to fuck me up? And then he goes in for the kill, and then Joshua gets caught coming in.
Now, there is this one, Miguel.
Mm.
Too much money has been laid down on Jake Paul by the degenerates. There is that one.
All right.
Right? You have all the Jake Paul fans going over there and like, no, dude, my guy's solid. I've been watching him his whole career. Bet throwing $100 down on him. Might have a bunch of those happening. And then you have the legit guys with gambling issues that are dropping big money on Jake, thinking that he has a significant chance of landing a lucky punch. It could be that Jake is getting too much money put on him, so they have to not only take his odds down a little because they're going to be writing free checks here if the miracle does happen, but they have to lower Anthony Joshua's numbers. That's exactly what it is. They have to lower Anthony Joshua's numbers, so then they'll get some smart gamblers to go, all right, I'm ready to drop 50 grand on Joshua. Right? They're going to make a few, and don't even have me do the math, but it will only be a few grand.
Right.
At 13, minus 13 damn hundred, but they'll still do it because it's free money. The smart money might be waiting until this week. We might see the numbers significantly move this week, but I'm thinking the casinos did do those odds because the degenerates came in heavy on Jake Paul early. Yes, sir.
So we definitely won't see the fight go the distance, aka the draw, right? Which is at between plus 2,000 and 2,500. So we're definitely not seeing the fight go the distance right now. The fight is already scheduled for 8 rounds, so it's already going to be a shorter fight. We're not going to see the fight go the full 8 rounds, right, Andrew?
No, I don't believe that at all. And kind of Anthony Joshua came out and guaranteed to his fan base that this thing wasn't going the distance. He said, I don't know if it's going to end in the first, the second, but it's not going the distance. And I thought that was just fucked up for Jake Paul. That man didn't give you the third or fourth. He said the first, the second, but it's not going the distance. So look, you guys, seriously, man, the little videos they've been putting out on Anthony throwing mitt work, I'm going to be very give Jake Paul a lot of respect for going in there and fighting, even if this is a Peter McNeely situation where he doesn't take a lot of punches and he gets dropped pretty fast. And, it's like, what were we expecting, right? Mm-hmm. The kid's fucking going in there and fighting a legit heavyweight champ. Because Anthony, even his 1, 2, 3, just a jab right left was like, oh my God, if he lands just that, are you fucking kidding me right now? It's just sad, the sound. And for whoever's been in the gym and oh no, they're gonna lay off the punches. Have you ever had a heavyweight hit you who's laying off the punch? There's not too much fucking laying off.
You're still gonna feel it, guys. You're still gonna feel it,
bro.
It's still gonna jar the shit out of y'all. Just saying. Even if it's an arm punch, yo.
Go look up Billy hitting Lee on freaking YouTube.
Yeah, right.
He still makes them fly. Like, and I've even experienced it where it's like, dude, you're just big. It doesn't matter that you're holding back. You fucking, you're 260 pounds of muscle throwing a punch. Stop it.
He can backhand you, and it'll still be impactful. You know what I'm saying? With an open hand. Like Stockton bitch slap type of thing, and it'll still fucking jar you. Taking a look at some of these other odds here, Joshua by KO or TKO, heavily favored. And then it just put an example here, minus 400 and minus 475. I'm not sure why it says an example, but I thought it was gonna give me the specific number. It's just giving me some weird example there.
All that means, Miguel, is you got to lay 475 down to win $100 back. That's all. That's all.
Well, yeah. I just don't know if those are the exact ones because it gives me an example of those numbers. And I'm like, all right, are you giving me the exact numbers or an example of numbers? Because I get that.
Oh, got you.
So that's why I was like, what the fuck? We've seen a couple of videos / pictures recently of Jake Paul and what appears to be some sort of black eye, some sort of marking from some, yeah, exactly, right. So, what are we to believe that? I've seen some still images, I've seen some videos. Do you think that's legit? Do you think like it's just part of the fucking ploy? Like, hey, let's put some fucking, whatever eye makeup here, so it looks like I'm taking some hard ass shots during training camp. He does wipe it during the video, so it looks like it's not coming off. But I don't know. I've seen some makeup not just rub off like that. I mean, not rub off. So I don't know. Do you think that's legit? Supposedly it came from some sparring partners, right? That are legit guys. But is that real? You think?
If he's doing round robin type sparring where he's taking on 3 guys in one day, in one sparring session, maybe 2 rounds each guy, no, it's absolutely all real, especially the crooked nose. Bro, his nose is crooked. That's what they pointed out the other day. They're like, what happened to your nose? He's like, yeah, I think it was Octane. What's that guy's name? The cruiserweight went up to heavyweight.
Yeah. Shit. I forgot, but I know you're talking about. Yeah, I'm trying to think of his name, bro.
He was or no, actually it wasn't him, it was Sanchez, dude. I believe he said Frank Sanchez is the one that made his nose crooked. Gotcha. Yeah. But I mean, Miguel, those are 3 pretty big guys that are hitting you, right? Mm-hmm. Even soft sparring, even just training, going through the motions, those are 3 big men. So I absolutely think the scratches and the color is all real. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I see these pop up, like, I think last week, I think that's when I saw them. That's pretty close to fight time. That's pretty serious. If your nose is fucking crooked or your eye is bruised like that, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Nope. This close to fucking fight night. At this point, you should be working on cardio and call it a fucking day. Keep the speed up, hit the bag, whatever. Stay nice and warm, but no like heavy sparring. Now, again, the circumstances were a little bit different because he was originally scheduled to fight Gervonta, and then once it ended up being So then ended up being AJ, and then they brought in some heavy hitters, right? So it's like, all right, I don't know. When I see some of these videos,
you hit it on the head last week when you reminded me about Tank Davis. There's absolutely no way he had these 3 dudes in his sparring camp prior to fucking signing AJ. So he had to get in the ring with them, dude. He had to test himself. He had to try to get adapted to the power of these punches that are now going to be coming at him. Besides, who was he fighting before? Wasn't it like Haney? Who did he have in the training when he was going to fight Gervonta?
He had Shakur. He had Montana Love. He had a couple of those guys. Yeah.
Come on now. Come on. They're like, yeah, no, they definitely fought. They definitely fought last week.
I wonder if those guys were like, man, fuck, I want to get a few more rounds and get paid a little bit more by fucking, Jake Paul. It's like, oh, like, hey guys, sorry, we're gonna have to cut out. I'm not fighting Gervonta anymore. It's like, well, I'll still throw down with you if you want. Like, no, I need heavyweights. Well, I'll hit harder if you want me to hit harder. No, I need heavyweights. God damn it, I need bigger guys. I need Sanchez up in this bitch. And I mean, Sanchez would give him some good rounds, not just power, but like he's smart. He's not the most exciting fighter, but very defensive and the kind of guy that will move around quite a bit. And he's no slouch by any stretch. So definitely good sparring partners there. But I don't know. When I saw those videos, and I was like, man, I don't know. I kind of had my suspicions. I don't know. Maybe I'm still skeptical from the time that, because again, we talked about it a week ago, maybe the week before, that we don't even know if this fight's going to go down. We're thinking as time approaches, at some point, we're going to see Jake Paul pull out for one reason or another, some injury or some bullshit. And he even teased us a little bit last week with some garbage ass tweet or something like that, right? Saying like, yeah, exactly, as if it had to been done. It is what it is. Like, well, anyway, he lured us into that one. But
let's say at the end of the day, though, he's still doing what every man has said they would do for their families, would do for $1 million, and that's take a punch from a heavyweight champ. Right now, that's what Jake is doing. He's going to, we'll see the level of fighting that he gives us once he's in there. But so far, all he's agreed to is a jackass stunt. He's going to go in that ring and take a punch and go down.
All right. So I remember you telling me this in the previous show or the show before that, but obviously we already said it's not going to go 8 rounds. What round does it end?
Man, I sometimes I'm so off on these exhibition fights, Miguel, because I think this shit's real, right? And I'm like, there's no way that a normal guy can take on a fighter. And they go 7 rounds. Then you have McGregor fucking win a round in 5 or something like that.
Mhm.
And it's like, what the fuck just happened? I never expected McGregor to go that far with Floyd. You know what I mean? I think I bet the
Really? You didn't? Are you serious? You didn't think it?
No.
I mean, dude, it's
Yeah,
not like
what shit is I
no.
talk about MMA?
Well, I mean, but even still, because like, look, I've heard when I heard Max Kellerman is like, oh, Connor's not even gonna land a punch. Like, what? Like, do they really think Floyd was fucking Triple G was gonna come in and whoop the shit? Like, fuck no. He's gonna school him. He's gonna let him get tired, and then he's gonna fucking school his ass and pick him apart. Of course, he's gonna get tagged with a few jabs. It ended up being like a nice uppercut or whatever the fuck. But when I heard that from Max, I'm like, Max, relax. Come on now. He is a trained fighter to some degree, even if it's by accident. He'll throw a fucking
but it's
hack
still
punch.
garbage. It's training, but the stand up is garbage.
No, I know, but I mean, the bottom line is he has thrown down with somebody, not an elite level. He's thrown down with somebody enough to throw a punch, take a punch, and give it back enough.
I think what Max and me were thinking was that opportunity never should have been there. It should have been ding ding and some of the fastest hands that McGregor ever seen coming at him fight over.
Even at that age, Floyd,
Even at
I
that
know
age.
he's an exception, but
Even at that age, I thought Floyd was going to go in there and like literally light up the whole UFC for all the shit that the UFC had ever talked about Floyd had put him through. I really and granted, you guys, look, I didn't watch that fight live. Floyd did a great job of beating the fuck out of McGregor for those 11 rounds or so that it went on. McGregor really does take a good whooping in that fight. I thought it was closer, I guess, because I was watching streaming, so it might have been fuzzy. It might have been what is it called? Freezing on me. I thought the fight was closer than when I did actually rewatch it HD, clear out. I was like, oh, wow, Floyd does handle him. But I expected it to be fucking lights out. So all I'm saying is I really always had these exhibition fights wrong because maybe it's not 100% real, right? So I'm here thinking of a real fight when they've got a clause in it that says you can't throw 100% punches, and I'm not thinking of that side. So with that being said, it's gonna say Anthony Joshua within 5.
I like Anthony's prediction though. He's like, it might be the first round, might be the second round, kind of like it won't go past X amount. I was expecting a little bit more harsh, like might be the first half of the first round, might be the second half of the first round, might be the latter of the last third of the first round, but he's not getting past the third round. Because I mean, we'll say this again, talking about Francis Ngannou going the 2 rounds at least, right? The second round is when he got knocked the fuck out. I'm expecting that. And in roughly around the second round, I'm thinking Anthony's going to let him live a little bit, right? We're going to see a little bit of a show. He's going to start touching him up a little bit in the first round, and like, all right, now you felt it. Now I'm going to fucking seal the deal in the second round and clock his ass. I don't know how much. Ngannou doesn't move a lot, right? It's not like the dude was a fucking Floyd by any stretch. He was basically a sitting duck. I'm anticipating Jake Paul moving a lot more. He's not going to stand in front of him, right? At the very least, if Sanchez has given him any tips, it's like, don't fucking stand still, move around the ring, like clinch with the motherfucker or something like that. So I'm anticipating he's going to get a lot more tips. Yeah.
And that was one of the worst highlights they put out on Jake so far was all of the times he gets caught backing straight out. And they're like, really? He's really going to back straight out and take the left hook right hand from Joshua? And it's like, no, he's not. He's not. He can't, dude. He has to change so much in this fight just to get by the fixed fight. Just to get it. It's what's the young man that got knocked out on Creed? Jordan.
Oh,
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
It's that all over again, where they're even staging the scene, and he still gets knocked out because he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like. It's going to be very hard for Jake with some of the things that he does. Chavez rocked him. That was that was in his last fight. He showed that he couldn't get out of the way of that slow ass fucking fighter. That's not Anthony. Joshua is going to have to tone this thing down so much not to put a hurting on this young man. Then did you see the face off where where it happened like 2 days ago. They just did a face off over there in Miami, I think, and he's standing on his tippy toes, and then he starts jumping.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
see
he
that.
looks
Yeah.
hella small, man. Small.
Yeah, it's very different when you're normally the bigger dude, at least, or the bigger body, because he was with Chavez, right? But I mean, the Chavez, I guess he's fought as light as 160, so obviously naturally his frame is just a little bit smaller. And then Anderson Silva, guys like that, right? But when you're a guy, we are fighting a guy whose shoulder width is like fucking wide, and then on top of that, he's taller than you in a natural heavyweight. That's definitely another story. So we've seen the kind of numbers that Jake Paul has done on Netflix, specifically with Mike Tyson. You think you can predict kind of a ballpark of how many views or how many people are going to tune in to watch Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua?
Miguel, I hope it's a high number, but I wasn't really impressed with the promoting or the response from this fight. I haven't had a lot of people talk about it. Not like Tyson. That's the magic Tyson had on
But could
people,
it have been
right?
like the short notice? Could it have been like the last minute,
Yes.
not last minute, but it's short because I mean, there's only so much you can do in that small time frame. Like, could we have really gotten that much interested in that short time frame?
I'm going to say this. Yes, and it's the fact that Anthony Joshua is not Mike Tyson in America. So I don't expect American numbers to be as high as that fight. But I think what we need to rate the success of this fight is what Netflix does in the UK. Because of that story that me and you found or we dropped about the UK, they only have 17 million subscribers. Miguel, if that shoots up to 20, 30, 40 plus million subscribers because of one night, one fight, well, there's their success right there. So this fight is going to get measured in what does Jake and Anthony bring for Netflix in the UK, in my opinion, more than America, because Anthony's not really Mike Tyson over here.
No, definitely not. Now, this fight is taking place in Miami, Florida. If I can read this right here, Casey, I don't know how to pronounce it. Center in Miami. This is I don't remember right offhand if this is the same arena that they were going to have. I think it is, right, where Gervonta and Jake was supposed to take place. So it's still in Miami. Do you think attendance wise is it going to be a success? Of course, it was originally supposed to be, and I mean, AJ or not AJ, I'm sorry, Jake Paul and Gervonta was supposed to take place in Atlanta. That fell through because of the athletic commission, et cetera, got moved to Florida, right? And this is what we suspect. He put some money down and deposit on the fucking arena, and they're just going to have it there, even though Gervonta bails out and we get AJ instead. But it's going to be the same arena, same city, et cetera, if I remember correctly. But considering what you just said, Anthony Joshua isn't exactly a star here in the U.S. Are we going to get pretty decent attendance, you think? Like a pretty decent live gate with this, specifically because of Jake Paul, really? I don't think a lot of people know who the casuals, I should say, who know who Anthony Joshua is. But do you think we'll get a good number, at least in the attendance?
Yeah, that I don't know, bro. Because look, it was very short notice for the Joshua fans to even save for this fight. And I mean, seriously, I don't think Jake Paul is bigger than Tyson Fury. So now with His Excellency again
Anthony
announcing,
Joshua, you mean? Anthony Joshua, you mean? Is that what you meant?
no,
Anthony? Oh,
no,
Jake
I
Paul?
think AJ fans are going, fuck Jake Paul. I'm gonna
Oh,
go
I
watch
see.
him fight Tyson Fury.
Gotcha.
So once again, he might have hurt himself or hurt his fighters' promotion of their current fight by announcing a fight for them later on, just like he did to Lopez and Haney.
Man, he
Lopez
just cannot.
He cannot help himself, bro. And I'm telling you, Miguel, there's a time where the fans will get spoiled of this, where we will expect the best from Rehad, and it won't be special anymore. That's why you can't give the best of the best of the best of the best, and every fight that we make is the best and the most anticipated, and nothing's ever been bigger than this. You can't do it every single time. You can't. I'm telling you right now, what you call it, the AJ. If they got that news today that Tyson Fury is going to either be in Riyadh or the UK next year, I'm saving my money. Saving my money, but I'm getting my Netflix subscription, and I think at the
Yeah,
very end,
and they'll still be saving money, really.
yeah, and at the very end, I think that's all Netflix cares about. They wanted them to stay home and get that subscription. So let's pray that Jake Paul delivers for Netflix on the UK side and Joshua. But I give props to Jake Paul because he got this thing started on Netflix.
Yeah, and he might, bring in. I mean, can you imagine Jake Paul, being the one uh got us on Netflix, and then Jake Paul be the one that gets a fuck ton of subscriptions for the UK guys? Like, holy fuck yeah, this guy's a gold mine. This guy's a golden goose, laying all these eggs. Go ahead.
Did you see Teddy Atlas kind of set the stage for Jake Paul to start receiving awards this year?
You know what? I saw the. I mean, it wasn't that. I could have saw. I saw him on my feed, him talking about something about the fight, and then him kind of actually leaning towards Jake Paul for a little bit. And I'm like, man, I'll get to this. And I just forgot about it. This weekend was pretty busy, so haven't got back to this. But what did he say?
He's just talking about giving the guy props for what he's done for the sport of boxing. You know, the higher pay scales for the fighters, what he did for women's boxing. You know what I mean? The fact that he does have the most viewed fight of the year, and we had Canelo Crawford go up against it for free, and it was still Jake fucking Paul. Are you kidding me right now? Like, I know Tyson had something to do with it, but I'm just talking about MVP promotions.
Mm.
Do not be surprised when they fucking take a lot of these categories this year in boxing. Take Jake Paul out of being a fighter and give him his dues for what he's done on the promoting side, especially when you think of what he did for his own career. Respect to Lee, rest in peace to our guy. Look at what he's about to cash in 100 million, 80 million. What is he making on the, like, even you threw out a number the other day. I seen it was like 160 million, they're saying,
Yeah,
for
something like that.
a
Yeah.
total of both. I mean, he made that. That's his promoting that got him that paycheck. This guy might be a promoter. Might not be that great of a fighter, but we might have a new promoter in boxing.
MVP, it's there, right? It's
Yeah.
MVP. He might. I don't know. He might. Shit, it's weird to say. Will he be the one to step up and be like, no, Dana, no, Nick Khan, that's not happening. I don't know what Twilight Zone are we living in where that's gonna be the fucking
Right?
reality, where he's gonna be our Superman to come in and keep the Dana Whites of the world and the Nick Khans and the TKOs out of boxing. Wow. So the fight goes down this weekend, 5 p.m. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I think it was like 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm gonna get the quick time here, but I could have sworn it was gonna be early in the day, or at least the early times here. Let's see, time. Here it goes. Time. All right. According to this here, this is AI, of course, as everything is now. The main card is starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, and it's going to be live on Netflix, guys. If you guys already have Netflix, by all means, you guys in the UK, you can always sign up and get yourself some free stuff here. But nonetheless. Hopefully, we get some more news between now and Wednesday, because we always like to come at you guys for our Wednesday show. So maybe we'll get some more news, maybe one last press conference, maybe some sort of media workout or whatever the fuck, right? That we might get from these guys, because that does tend to happen fight week. So more fight week events that are going to be happening in Miami, Florida. We'll make sure to talk about it, because we'll be back Wednesday. I'm sure we can talk about something, right? But that is going to wrap
Hey,
it up.
Miguel.
Yes.
What's our favorite bar of soap that we like to use?
Oh shit! Thank you for reminding me. God damn it! See, I usually have a sticker with me, and it's on my desk here, and I pull it up because it reminds me, and I don't have it with me right now. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't already checked them out, make sure to check out Health E Sol, tallow-based products, tallow-based soap in particular. Lavender patchouli is the one that I use the most. I use it for everything, quite frankly, just in my hair and everything. But if you check them out and find something you like, make sure to use the code MADBoxing10 at checkout and get yourself 10% off of your purchase, or follow the affiliate link that will be in the description of this video. And then, of course, as always, like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. But make sure to check out Health E Sol, tallow-based products, tallow-based soap. All right. then that is going to wrap it up for our Sunday night / evening show. Andrew, besides that fantastic softball you threw at me just now, anything else you would like to add to this before we call it a show?
Nope. Just Wednesday, we'll probably have a turkey announcement of Jake Paul's next big fight.
And then fuck everything up for everybody else. Like, I have bigger plans for one Jake Paul in a few weeks. But yes, that is case. And yes, we will have a Wednesday show. It'll be our last Wednesday show for the next couple of weeks because the Wednesday after that is Christmas Eve, and then the Wednesday after that is New Year's Eve. So we will still do our regular Sunday shows, but the Wednesday ones we're going to have to skip out because obviously it's going to be the eves of those shows. But we will have it this week, and we will have a fight on Friday, the 19th. So make sure to tune in this weekend. But that is going to wrap it up for our Sunday show. For my co-host, Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache, I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, and this has been Mad Boxing, or the Mad Boxing Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care. Peace.